traveling 28 days crossing the Atlantic Ocean on the Pacific Princess, we entered the mouth of the mighty Amazon River. From here, we traveled 930 miles, or 1,500 kilometers over 4 days, stopping at Santarém and Parbinitins before finally arriving in Manaus. Manaus is the largest city in the Amazon with more than 1 million inhabitants. From 1890 to 1915, Manaus was the capital of the rubber boom that took this area by storm. We spent 2 nights here before continuing up the Rio Negro, one of the 2 major tributaries of the Amazon. Our ride was a local riverboat. It wasn't until 2010, when the Iradupa Bridge was completed, that you could even leave Manaus by anything other than a riverboat or a plane. After all the planning, we were so excited to be starting our adventure to the unknown. We hung up our hammocks and tried to get comfortable in the hot and humid conditions. Darren woke up early the next morning to have a look around on the top deck. It was fascinating to explore the boat and observe the people who clearly have made the 30-hour journey to Barcelos many times. There are several small communities along the Rio Negro. However, the ferry wasn't scheduled to stop for several more hours. In the Amazon, the weather can change in what seems like an instant. Less than a half an hour later, the storm had passed. At approximately the halfway point to Barcelos, we reached the outpost of Mora. The ferry stops here briefly to unload supplies and allow a few passengers to disembark. Here, we boarded a small powerboat and continued still deeper into the rainforest up the Japuri River for another 4.5 hours. Other than the 5 tiny villages we viewed along the way, we saw nothing but pristine forest before entering into the Reserva Xixauau Xirapina. We are now 1,215 miles, or 1,955 kilometers from the Atlantic Ocean and in another world entirely. There are 17 families who live here on the edge of the reserve. In our next video, we'll cover the animals we found here, including giant otters, dolphins, monkeys, and a host of exotic birds. We will also cover how the local community is working to preserve the environment for generations to come.